Rookie Hunter is proudly brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. As you know, Sheep Show is coming up very, very quick here. And if you haven't registered yet, while you are starting to run out of time, hotels are booking up, banquets are booking up. Now is the time to register if you haven't done so already. If you don't plan on attending, that's fine too. You can go to thewildsheepfoundation.org to become a member, to renew your membership, to become a lifetime member. You can buy yourself some WSF merch. All of that can be found at thewildsheepfoundation.org. The Rookie Hunter has stayed connected all season long with Zoleo. From November 8th to December 2nd, 2024, you can save $70 off a Zoleo device. Plus, you'll get a free Gaia GPS membership for 6 months. That is a total of up to $95 in promotional savings. So go to Zoleo.com, that's Zoleo.com. And we once again partnered with our friends at North Arm Knives. If you've been listening lately, you know that you can win a blade from North Arm Knives by submitting a hunting story to us. All you have to do is type it out and send it to us at info@therookihunter.com. Plus, the holidays are coming up quick here, so go to northarmknives.com. Hey guys, welcome to episode 168. Getting up there. How's the season? Hope you guys are doing well. Mule deer season has come to a close, sadly, for me. Hunted my ass off. I had multiple malfunctions. I had some close calls, lots of excitement, but that's a wrap for me, unfortunately. Hey, I was hoping to get this episode out sooner, but I've been in New York and specifically New Jersey for the last week here. So I just couldn't pull it together before I left, so I apologize for the delay. I was out with my good friend Joe Cermelli. Him and I work on Cut and Retie. It's his podcast. I produce all the audio and edit it for him. And while we were there, I recorded an episode with him for his podcast, not mine. And if you would like to check it out, it's going to be available this Friday, November 15th. And the show's called Cut and Retie. It's all about fishing. I was out there striper fishing. Very similar to my hunting season, actually, as you'll find out. But go check it out. Here's a quick clip.
Just take a freaking metal. Just drop it straight down. Just drop it straight down, Mike. Drop it straight down. And you did. And like came tight. I was like, bango. Here we go. Freaking sea robin.
Yeah, I caught 2 of them.
Yeah. How thrilling. How thrilling.
I mean, it was a fish. I'd never seen one of those before. So I'm like, hey, there's something on the line. At least I'm reeling shit in. I don't know what this. You could have told me like, man, those are like, you're lucky you caught that. Which is
what I should have done.
Yeah. Nobody catches those. You're like,
in hindsight, I should have been like, man, this is the best dogfish bite we've ever had. Stripers are cool, but man, this is a really special thing.
You could have
to be here for this deal. And yeah, I totally should have done that.
So yeah, that's Cut and Retie. Check it out and let me know what you think. It's very East Coast focused, but he does a fantastic job with that show. And I love the guy. I'm proud to be a part of that one. Lastly, we are going to announce the winner of the first North Arm Knife giveaway. We got another hunting story coming up in this episode. And at the very end in the outro, I will announce the winner. Keep these coming because we're doing this every 2 months. I think we're actually announcing the winner kind of late, but it took a little while for the stories to start trickling in. But we've got tons of them now, and we're going to keep playing them on each episode. So anyways, hang tight all the way to the end, or if you're impatient, you can skip and find out if you won or not. But anyways, let's get into this episode. Sit back, relax, crack a nice cold beer, and enjoy episode 168. we actually just finished recording the bear or the elk episode, so my voice still sounds trash, but it's not a week later. It's 5 minutes later. So anyway,
Yeah, you must really had a good concert.
yeah.
Well, who was it, by the way?
It was Valtteri was going to the Dropkick Murphys and didn't have anybody to go with,
yeah,
so
yeah.
he conned me into going with him. It was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Shipping off to Boston.
Yeah.
Nice. Classic.
But yeah, it's just from like, I don't know, man. Like anytime I'm in a place where I have to talk loud, my voice just gets trashed.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it sucks. The last time I sounded like this was after the convention in Penticton, and that's where the concert was, in the exact same building. Like, oh man, I'm having flashbacks here.
Maybe that was a cigar. I lost my voice at the Megadeth concert that I went to like in the spring, which was pretty funny because it was right after like a 4-year-old's birthday party. I had to cut out early, and they're like, "What? Where are you going?" I'm like, "A Megadeth concert." They're like, "Whoa, that's whiplash." It's like one scenery to the next, you know?
Yeah, that's hilarious. So you guys heard my my recap, my very tired and delirious recap of the hunt by the campfire.
What did you think was behind you in the bush?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't think a deer would just be checking me out by the fire.
Yeah,
creepy.
You know? Yeah, I was kind
Maybe
of
it was a porcupine or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I talked about this like with when I had that run-in with that cougar, man, and I was sitting around I had ate dinner prior to recording, and I was just hanging out by the fire and nothing. And then while I was recording that, I kind of got that fucking weird feeling like I did with the when I was cross country skiing, and that fucking cougar was following me. So
weird,
you gotta
creepy.
trust your instinct, man. And then I brought the rifle out, which wouldn't have done me any good, as it turns out. I was sitting by the fire with that. But I don't know. I don't know what would just be kind of lurking around like that. You know, if you yelled at a deer or something, you would have heard them like crashing through the bushes.
Speaking of the rifle, is it fixed?
Apparently, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, fucking hope so.
He probably, I'm trying to figure out did he actually fire bullets out of it, or did he do like
he did, yeah,
fake bullets?
So they have a bullet basically with a primer and everything in it, so they can fire it without it shooting a bullet. So they fired it off in the shop, I guess.
So what was it?
It just needed to be cleaned. He said like the oil inside of the bolt. He said usually it happens if you've had your rifle out in like really high temperatures. The oil can actually kind of like solidify a little bit and just becomes like thick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's what happened to mine. My Seiko.
What happened to mine?
Not my Seiko, my Tico.
Tico. It took him quite a bit to clean it all out and then oil it up again, I guess. But it feels good. Like it, should be fine. Nice. But yeah, what a piss off.
That's the ultimate.
Yeah,
like
fucking twice, man.
The ultimate, like, what are the chances?
Yeah, chances of seeing two really nice bucks. And fucking, I don't want to think about it anymore, man.
Well, then that was kind of my takeaway from the whole hunt, which we'll get into, but like, polarizing in the sense that like there was a lot of good things, and then there was a lot of like just things like that where like, how could these two things be happening at the same time?
Yeah.
You know, you're seeing tons of animals, your gun's misfiring repeatedly. Anyways.
Somebody was asking me about it on Instagram, and I didn't really explain this, but so I had bumped my scope when I went on that scouting trip, and then I had shot my rifle just to see if it was shooting fine. And those nozzlers I had were just all over the paper. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? So like Kelly has a range pass. And so I asked if he could bring me out there, and he did. And then exact same like pattern that I shot before when I was checking my scope. There's like 2 up high and to the right, 2 to the left, and like same height kind of thing. And then 1 like right on the bullseye. It was like identical to the 5 that I had shot previous to go into the range. I was like, what the fuck?
And so that was nozzler ammunition?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's good ammo.
It is. It's like $100 a box for that shit.
Ooh.
And so I had these old Remington Core-Lock ones that's what my dad used in there. They're cheaper ones. They're like half the price.
Yeah.
So I threw a couple of those in there and they were bang on. I think we kicked it over an inch to the right or something like that, but it was shooting really good. Yeah. But then, so all those shots were fine. All of the nozzlers shot really fine. And then when I switched to the Core-Lock ones, I had 2 misfires or 1 or 2 misfires at the range. And like, fuck, it's just a shitty box of ammo, like whatever. I mean, this is what I'm going to have to use for this trip, but didn't really think too much about it. And like, I just was hoping that it wouldn't happen when I had an animal in the sights. And then, of course, it did. And then the second buck, I cycled through like 5 rounds and they all misfired. So it was obviously not the bullets.
And just to clarify, it's not, the nozzler ammunition is really good. I just don't think Mike's gun liked it. And just like my gun doesn't like the Barn 168 and every gun likes certain things. Yeah. But it liked those Core-Locks as far as shooting them straight for sure.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Really straight. So I'll try something else next year. I might go with something a little bit heavier, depending on what we're doing.
And Mike and I we were talking about that too. And like, I'm no expert by any means, but I've thought that I've read, and one of the reasons I moved over to a 180 was my rifle just seemed to spin them better and they shoot straight. And I was just thinking about twist rate and, bullet grain and kind of how those things relate. And I don't even think we know the twist rate of your rifle, but I think most 30-06s are kind of, I want to say on the slower side to spin heavier weight. I could be totally backwards there, but in any event, it's kind of on that one side of the spectrum. So maybe it would spin heavier bullets better.
Yeah.
Something we could try.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you find something that works, I just stick with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's just it, man. Yeah.
Otherwise you'll spend like $600 like continuing to look, unless you're hand loading.
Yeah.
But even then it's not cheap.
No. Anyway, so that's all sorted out. But so I did the recap. We as we explained on the last podcast, there was and the recap that I did, we had to leave the trucks and use the ATVs to get to the trailhead because it was a pretty small, shitty road. There was no other real way to do it. It was like an ATV trail. So what were you guys' thoughts on that whole approach, leaving the trucks behind and all that expensive shit down there, coolers and all that kind of stuff?
It seemed to work out pretty good. I mean, we took all the right precautions as far as like chaining everything up and, pretty much everything that we could do to let ourselves sleep at night, knowing that we had some gear hanging out. But I got to say, I worried about it more ahead of time than I did during and at the end,
Yeah, for sure.
I think the other thing I always think about is like, I try not to leave anything in plain sight in my truck.
Yeah.
You lose change or anything,
Anything, yeah.
I just take everything, I clean everything out. So when people look in the windows, there's nothing there.
Well, plus we pretty much do take everything out because we're packing light.
Yeah.
As possible.
Yeah, exactly.
But, it's, you got to be smart about it. You don't want to like, obviously, test anyone's resolve, but like, I think we did a pretty good job and we were thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
Plus where we had the trucks were way out in the boonies. So, I mean, somebody could spend the entire day breaking into it if they actually knew where we were.
Yeah.
But I think most people are looking for a smash and grab.
Yeah.
That's where my brain's at.
And I like to believe that most people that are going out to these places are fellow hunters and we all kind of live by the same code and, don't be an ass. We're all out there trying to, do the same thing and enjoy the outdoors. And I think, that's because, we talked to like Randy and like guys from previous generation and, they say they never used to worry about that. Like they never used to worry about their trucks or their stuff in the bush, and even when we got wall tents and stuff out there, like we always come back and nobody's messed with it. So I still think that's generally true.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still want to be somewhat cognizant of like where you are, how far away it is, like what the probabilities are. But
yeah,
you like to
I
not
still
have
like
to
to have
worry
like
about it.
some standard, like you know what I mean. Like I don't want to push it too far. Even with the ATVs,
Exactly.
we chained them up together.
Yeah, exactly.
So somebody would have had gone through a lot of work to take those.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously we couldn't have done it without the ATVs. And then the trail was only like a couple of kilometers. It was steep. Yeah. But not bad.
Straight up. Steep's an understatement.
What were you guys' thoughts on camp and everything?
I thought it was awesome. Like scouting as far as Google Earth, and before we got into this spot to begin with, like pre everything. Yeah. I think we kind of nailed it. Yeah. I think we're getting good at like looking at stuff and finding flat areas and like, oh, this looks like a good camp. Like the first 5 to 7 years of hunting, you kind of have these hypotheses and then you go out there and it's like, we're going to have to change the plan. Yeah. But I think we're getting better at seeing the details, whether it's in real life or on the computer or whatever, right?
Yeah. And and Garrett going in there and finding the water that was close to camp and everything like that obviously makes
that was key.
Key for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
because we've been in situations where there's no water. And
this this, I don't know, these summers, man, are so crazy. And like, these are, I mean, in the Okanagan's a different story. It's like, we kind of expect all the creeks are just dry. Yeah. But in other areas of BC, you think all these creeks should be running all year long, but it was dry everywhere, man. It's insane. Yeah. So water is very much a valuable resource, and you're kind of stuck camping wherever it is.
Yeah. Well, we had the Catadyne Pro, which you have, the Hiker Pro. Yeah. And that thing's awesome. And then I brought in, like, we hauled that 20-liter blue jug up, like hiked it in there. That was a good idea. That, like we could just get a bunch of creek water, dump it in that, like hike it, how far to camp? Like, I don't know, 5
minutes or something like that. Not even a kilometer. Yeah.
Like a quarter kilometer or something.
Yeah.
And then you could have like a little shower or something every other day just with that jug, right? So, or you could filter some water out of it if you need some real quick or whatever. That was good.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of gear malfunction on this trip, especially for me. I had a lot of stuff like malfunction.
Had lots of
It's a good thing you brought that cat. Is that how you pronounce it? Catadyne?
Catadyne, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that MSR water filter I have, man, what a piece of shit that thing is. That thing
so where is it now?
Work.
It's in the trash. It's in the landfill, actually. I've had enough trying to resurrect that thing.
Yeah.
I would get if they're all like that, or if it's a lemon.
I think, man, even when we were sheep hunting, you guys are like, that's something not right with that thing. And it was brand new.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe the thing just sucks. And then I took it apart and I changed all the O-rings and that, and it still was just a piece of shit. So
when we got out of there, I immediately bought a Hiker Pro because I've been putting it off forever. Just like we're all kind of leaning on Mike to filter all or
putting miles on my filter.
I'm like, there's
Mike's
no
got
way
like one really big bicep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I tried Mike's here. I was like, yeah, that's more like it. That's realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was a good purchase, that one.
I'm getting one too. I got to buy a couple things after that hunt.
So what else?
Well, remember the cord? Remember you guys are like, man, you got that battery bank. We need some.
Oh, right.
We need some battery power here. And I was like, hold on a sec here. Mine's taking forever to charge. And then the cord was fucked.
Yeah.
So got to get some new cordage.
Yeah.
And then
what about the shelters? Like, did you talk about the shelters, Mike? Because we had 2.
Yeah, I did mention it. I didn't go into too much detail on it, but so we had the Hilleberg and the teepee. Yeah, the 3-man Hilleberg and the teepee. And I mean, it was like having the teepee was kind of a luxury choice, but because we were only hiking 2 kilometers to set up that camp, we're like, fuck it, let's bring some stuff and make this sweet.
Yeah.
And so we were gonna bring the stove too, but it warmed up. It was fucking hot when we went in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking too? We had some windstorms, and at one point it blew the teepee down, or maybe I can't remember if it was twice or just the once, but I can't remember if there's any sharp edges on that titanium stove. And if that would have had any, like if it would have blown the teepee down and then been like flapping around on the stove all day, like would that have caused an issue or anything, Garrett?
You know what, man? Now that you mentioned that, probably would have been good. And I think if anybody's pitching a teepee, then I think you should really pay attention to the ground you're driving the stakes in, because I think that's what did it. It pulled those stakes out.
We didn't have ideal staking ground
No,
for sure.
it was super soft.
And then in the end there, we figured just driving them like right below the soil, basically. Like underneath
burying them.
And then it stayed up fine, yeah. So.
Yep. But yeah, you're right. I bet you if that thing collapsed on that stove and then was flapping around,
or the exhaust pipe and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, high potential to rip it.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
Good call.
It was a good call not to bring the stove.
Yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't have needed it anyways, luckily. But
yeah.
So we don't have to go day by day because you guys are probably confused what day was what now anyways. But like there was some highlights basically. And the first one being for you guys, I kind of explained all of mine. But when I was up where that big black bear was that the same day that you guys saw the 4-point buck, or was it the day before?
I think it was the same day.
It was the same day. Yeah, that was the same day.
Yeah, Garrett and I were on a cool ridge. Spent like the whole morning there.
That's a sweet spot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I probably not even going to try to identify exactly what day any of this was on, but
yeah,
Garrett and I were up there for a huge lightning and thunderstorm too. And then like right after it ended, we had this huge double rainbow that went right over our heads.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
I forgot about that. That was cool. Kelly got a wicked picture of it.
Yeah, but yeah, we did spot, we were up there using our spotters, and I spotted a 4-point that was, I want to say 1,000 yards as the crow flies.
Right.
The problem was that to get there wasn't as the crow flies. And Mike, I think you touched on this on the other pod, but we put in a solid effort to get over there and kind of recalibrate ourselves in terms of like, hey, what did we see in 2D? And now that we're here in 3D, where the hell's that red bush? And we eventually found it, and he just wasn't in there anymore. So I don't think we necessarily spooked him. I think maybe he just moved on unawares and had a lucky day, but it was really cool. Like just the common theme for me, and it started with that day, was like the planning and kind of the ideas that we had, like, let's go here, let's glass, let's just stay here. Let's, and Mike, you went to a different location, and, everything we were doing and all the decisions just felt right and natural, and like that we knew what we were doing. It was like one of the hunts where I kind of felt like we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
like a spot and stock.
Yeah. So
I couldn't believe you spotted those things anyhow, man. You had to like point them out. You're like it took me forever. I'm like, where the heck are you looking?
Yeah. So I don't know. I was just having a good morning. I was on fire that day, but like I started.
You're pretty good with the glass, Kelly.
Yeah. It's like something I've learned, because I never was, but I've gotten better at it. And I was actually trying to remember to say this in this podcast, was like, the tripod and the bino setup is unreal. And Mike, I know you just got one too. And
yeah, I don't think I mentioned that, but
yeah. And I think you said like, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's super useful. But like what I started realizing, I always used to just kind of keep moving the binos and like do like a grid, right? But then for this hunt, and when I really started seeing all those deer, I would do the grid, but I wouldn't like continuously move the binos. I would just move it like 10 feet or like whatever distance into a new view. Yeah. And then I just let it sit there. I put my hands like under my armpits, just cross my hands, and I just sit there. And I just stare for like 2 minutes, 5 minutes. And like I would see, even if a bird moved, like I'm looking at like 1,000 yards away with my binos, and I would see like a bird's wing move. So like, and then, I would move it a little bit, and I would just sit there and I'd stare through them for like 5 minutes. I wouldn't touch a thing. And just that stability and being able to pick up on any little movement. Like I could see like a pine needle drop, man. So if there's any deer in the area, whether it's in a bush or whether it's just a movement of an ear,
Yeah.
I was picking that up like nothing. And I think I was like really purposefully just doing that system, and I was seeing everything that morning.
Where I was just like panning over everything like some crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I whip out the spotter once you see something, right? But like, it's amazing what you could pick up with some binos on this tripod.
Yeah.
But
it takes a certain level of patience to sit there and
That's
do what
exactly
you did.
it.
And
Yeah.
I go stir crazy.
So do I. Kelly comes in handy.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. Like I was actually seeing stuff and not a super long amount of time. So like instead of going through a morning of like not seeing anything but moving your eyes a lot, I went through maybe an hour and of doing it really boringly, but then I ended up seeing things. So it's like two cents of one, half dozen of the other, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mike's
Nice.
running around the mountainside.
Yeah, Mike's like covering ground, which is good too.
Well, yeah, I think like, I mean, that's the beauty of having three guys. It's like, especially when it's a new area that we're figuring out. It's like, I look at it like pieces of the puzzle. Like, okay, we looked at this on Google Earth. I want to go up there and like check that out while you guys are doing, because I mean, what's the point of having three guys sitting in one bowl, right? So like going up there and bringing back whatever I find out from that area, like, nah, there was no sign, or there was sign, or we should go back. And yeah, exactly. So,
Well, just knowing how to get in and out of spots. If you did spot
man,
something.
and you're just learning so much when you're out there, like just walking around, you start finding trails and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it's just cool to spread out, and we all enjoy different things, right? So it's good we can all kind of, try the thing that we like while we're there, and also, switch it up a bit too. So
I like the variety, man. Variety's good.
Yeah, you got to have variety. Like, I mean, the first couple of days there was a lot more sitting around, and then I remember that morning I just like, fuck, I need to go for a walk. And sometimes just like an area, you're looking at it through the binos, it's just calling you like, fuck, I want to go up there and see this spot, man. It looks cool,
Yeah. So when we went after that deer and we lost him, that was actually when Garrett caught the black bear. It's in the similar location.
Yeah. So you guys, this is I didn't really get into detail on this, but so you guys went over together to look for the mule deer.
Yep.
And then you stopped for a rest or something, and then you split up, or what were you guys doing?
Well, we had an idea
we split up.
Yeah, we had an idea where the mule deer was once we kind of figured it out. And then,
I was having a hard time letting it go, basically.
But we were in the same spot together there, and that's when you're like, well, I'm going to keep going. I said, well, I'm going to lie down and take a nap, because nothing I like more when you're bagged, when you're getting up that early, than just lying down in the middle of the woods and passing right out.
Yeah,
there's nothing like a good nap in the woods. So I was like, Kelly's like, I'm going to keep going.
OCD.
I'm like, I'm going to pass out, and when I wake up, I'm just going to boot around here.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Kelly went on his way there to go after the mule deer, and then once I woke up from my little siesta, I was like, well, I'm just going to go poke around and basically do what you do, Mike. Just go boot around, check out stuff.
Yeah.
And that's, Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so then you spotted a bear.
Well, I just kind of slowly made my way up the mountain, following game trails, checking stuff out. And there's stuff you can't see from the binos. I was like, holy cow, there's actually there's a lot of game going on in here.
It gives you a sense of like why you can't see them too, because there's like just tunnels through trees that don't look like are very big from where you're glass, and then you get in there, you're like, yeah, they're obviously just walking right through this shit.
Oh yeah,
and you wouldn't know, man. It's just like
well, I mean, Kelly said it's like it switches from 2D to 3D. Like now you're 3D once you're in there.
Yeah.
So I was like poking around, and then came over a little ridge there, and I was like, oh, geez, there's a nice healthy black bear there.
Yeah.
And then that's I text you guys to the Zolio and I'm like, you know what, man? I've never shot a black bear before, and we are miles away from any sort of civilization. Like, I know this is not a garbage bear. This is a super healthy bear. Like, his belly was damn near dragging on the ground.
It was nice.
So I text you, I'm like, I'm going to shoot this thing. It's time. I got to get a black bear. And I think, like you said, you're like, make sure it's big. I'm like, oh yeah, it's big. Okay, good.
Yeah. No, I always say that too from experience, just because sometimes they look big and then it's like, oh man, it's fucking not a big bear. When you
I got a good chuckle of that when you sent that. Oh yeah, that's big. It's a big one. It's big to my standards. It's good.
Yeah. No, it's good.
So once you guys are like, yeah, man, take it. It's good. Let it rip. And I just, shot him.
Yeah.
300 Win Mag strikes again.
Yeah, good.
We've had a good
well, we
year.
saw like 10 black bear in the area, so it was kind of like we should take one of these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before that, Mike sent us that message like, I'm chasing a huge black bear right now.
Yeah, it was the black bear hunt for like the longest time. I feel like.
Yeah,
I think too because the weather was weird when we got there, and the only thing moving around was really these black bears. Nothing else was really. And we're starting to wonder, well, maybe it's because there's so many black bears in here. That's why we're not seeing any.
We're not seeing anything. So
else.
That's what was going through my head too. I'm like, this place could probably do a little better. The ungulates could do a lot better if one of us remove one of these black bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what were your thoughts, Garrett? It was first time, so.
It's different, man. It's a lot different shooting predators. I don't know, man. That was tough.
Yeah.
That one was hard, man. I don't know why. It was just different. I shot that black bear. I'm not trying to get all soft on you guys there, but it definitely felt different when I shot that.
No, that's
thing.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did, I made sure I made a clean shot on it, and it died, and it was a boar, which they say look at its head, and that, man, it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell, yeah.
But what I did make sure of, it had no cubs, so I watched it. I'm like, okay, it's got no cubs. All right, I'm gonna take this bear. It's a good, healthy sized bear. Shot it twice. Make sure it's dead. Died. I text you guys through the Zolio. Man, that Zolio thing is working unreal. I know it probably sounds like we're really trying to push it here, promote it. But
well, it works, man. It's great.
Well, I know the struggles that we've all had from the previous, not to shit on them, but it's just like ding, boom, right away. Got the message and passed. And then I was like, bears down. You guys are like, all right, good. And then I was like, I'm okay. I'm going to field dress this myself. I'll be fine. I'm good. And you guys are like, okay, well, text us if anything goes sideways. Let me know if you need help.
Yeah, I wanted to come and help, but I was like, give me your location. You're like, I don't know how. And I'm like, maybe he just doesn't want me to come in there. He wants to do it himself.
No, I wanted you guys to keep hunting.
Yeah.
Like it was the time of the day. Kelly, I knew you were going after that mule deer. And we had talked, and Mike, I knew you were running around. You had a big bear that you were chasing. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I got this. I'll field dress it, and then I'll meet you guys back at camp. Which we were all texting.
Yeah. And I could see across the bowl. You're like, hey, look at it. Because you brought these like orange tourniquets for all of us, right? You're like, hey, look at this. Look over by this tree over here. And I could just see like a little orange like ribbon in the air. I'm like, oh yeah, I know where you are. So if something obviously went sideways, we know where you were.
Yeah, those tourniquets, I think got them at like a London Drugs or something like that. And then that same friend of mine who was saying, who helped me out with packaging, they helped me. He's like, the one thing I always think about is getting a massive cut and bleeding out. So we all bring those tourniquets. So I got them at, I think it was like London Drugs. I grabbed those things and I got you guys some. And then I used it as flagging tape because Kelly's like, where are you? And I just held it up. He's like, oh, there you are. But broke the bear down. The bear was loaded with fat.
Yeah.
Loaded. Fat. And that bear had been just gorging on berries.
So what's the bear fat now?
What's that, Kelly?
What's the bear fat now?
Oh, so when I deboned the bear, I had to debone. It was way out there. And the fat, I couldn't take all the fat, man. Like my backpack was already, like I was like, I can't bring all this fat and meat. Like I'm already weighed down. But I brought the fat home like after the trip and froze it. And then me and my buddy, he rendered it down, and now we have, he did most of it. I helped him cut it all up, but he has one of those induction cookers. I don't know if have you guys seen those?
Yeah.
And then boiled all that fat down, and you got to see it, man, like into jars. It's like crystal clear. So
yeah, we'll
turned out
post some of those
unreal.
photos. It looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just the fat in the jars, or is it soap right now?
No, that's just the fat.
Okay.
So from that point, I believe you can turn it into lots of different things. I think soap, like candles, you can use it for treating leather. You can use it for baking pastries. Apparently it's unreal for
Nice.
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And the meat
Cool.
was, when I was breaking down the bear, the meat looked unreal.
Yeah.
So I got all that
Which
loaded up, and then I met up with you guys. I mean, we can pick up from where we left off there.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess that was another one of the highlights, and then it was probably, I don't know. Again, days are all weird, but we ended up finding some mule deer. It must have been the next day, actually. I think it was. Yeah, because then we ended up bringing the meat out the following day. Anyways, but yeah, so we decided we were going kind of like north of camp and south of camp for the first chunk of the trip, like the first at least 4 or 5 days there or whatever, and decided to go north of camp, or Kelly and I decided to. Anyways, am I getting this right?
Yeah. North.
Yeah, you're right. That's north.
We would have been going east for most of the hunt.
No, I was just trying to remember, because then was the next day that Garrett and I went, and we saw, or was it that evening? When the fuck
No, it
did
was that
happen?
evening we went out, me and you.
The bear day.
Yeah,
Or was it?
it was the evening.
So, oh wait, no. Hold on a sec. Kelly and I went in there together, and then you and I went.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
but that was the next day.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So anyways, Kelly and I decided to go north and check out a spot. Figured it'd be a good one for mule deer. Elk, we'd kind of decided were like not really happening, but we thought maybe this.
Yeah. They all disappeared, I guess.
Yeah, they all vanished. But went and checked this other spot out, and big open area. It was pretty cool. And we got over there pretty early, glassing again. Kelly finds this fucking 2-point that's just like ears sticking up behind this little. How do you even see that? I got my glass on it, and it vanished.
Yeah.
I caught it for like half a second, then we never saw it again. But that was a 2-point, right?
Yeah. So consider that literally, if we hadn't been looking at within that 5-minute span,
Yeah.
and we had been bullshitting or whatever,
Yeah.
we would have thought that bowl is completely empty,
Yeah, totally.
and guaranteed that wasn't the only one. And actually it wasn't,
It
because
wasn't,
we ended
yeah.
up seeing a couple other ones, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess long story short, unsuccessful on those two. But it was really cool to kind of see that area, like a different bowl.
Yeah.
And then to know something just felt right about that area too.
Yeah, for sure.
It was just perfect. It just looked like muley territory. Sure
Yeah.
enough.
Like
Yeah.
those bears are they must be just all berries until those deer dropping fawns. Because to see
I think
ungulates
mostly-
and that amount of bears in there, it's like, what the fuck's going on here?
They were eating those they're like rose hips or whatever. What are those little berries on those rose bushes or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you know
yeah,
what I'm talking about? Because
Yeah.
their shit was all like kind of orange
Yeah.
color. So I'm assuming that's what they were eating. That's probably what that fat is gonna taste like,
Yeah.
Good point.
I'd imagine.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Kelly's spotting mule deer. You guys are spotting, there's mule deer in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet we're still turning up black bears all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a pair. So yeah, there's the 2-point, which was on the opposite side of the bowl. And then there's actually 2 other deer. So it was interesting because I was kind of pitched on this little ridge where I was right in the middle of this little saddle, which was actually a game trail.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, like, I don't know if they were sitting there the entire time, but what I think happened was they were walking their game trail and coming up, and they walked right into me.
Yeah.
And I heard these rocks tumbling, right? And I look around. First, I think I'm going to get attacked by something. I look around, and there's like 4-point. It's like 3x4 staring at me. I'm like, oh shit. So I just basically took off after it, but was unsuccessful. But then, like, what I saw was there was actually 2 of them. There was a little bachelor group there.
Oh yeah.
So, and essentially this links up to Mike's attempt, like at the last day, I guess, which he found them again, and then the rifle misfired. So, but like, it goes back to the point of like I felt like every day that we did, like the planning and the execution, and like, hey, we should sit here, we should go in at this time, we should look that way, we're reading the wind, like everything was done so well. And then just the outcomes didn't match up with it somehow, even though we were seeing animals.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a super encouraging hunt at the end of the day, like from a deer perspective. And I don't think we got the outcomes that we deserved.
No.
It's kind of what I felt like, because we were
Well, I
doing
fucking
so well.
nailed it. I shot a black bear.
Yeah, well, you did.
Yeah,
all right.
like the bear side, we nailed. I was thinking like just from a deer kind of elk perspective.
yeah.
Like I feel like the outcomes we got weren't necessarily like, I feel like it was all pointing to, animals getting tagged, right?
Right.
But that's
Man,
not
when
always
I
how
got to
it
be
works.
honest, man, when we spotted that first bear, my brain went into full bear mode.
I could
I'm
tell.
like,
Yeah.
All bear. I'm like, fuck it. It's on. I'm going to shoot one of these things.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about that before too, like before we went on this trip on the podcast is, how many times do we go in,
Yeah.
see a bear on the first few days and we don't do anything about it?
That's what was going through my head.
Yeah.
And then Mike, like that one day there, we hiked up. Mike's like, oh, check it. There's a bear there. I'm like, really? Where? Again, I'm blind. He's like, right fucking there. Look. Oh yeah, there it is. Nice. And then, I mean, you think about now as we look back on it, how many different opportunities we had with different game.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty killer hunt, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the funnest hunts I've been on.
Yeah. Yeah. So that bear that you're talking about, you and I, Garrett, went out that evening together close to where.
No, that's a different bear now you're talking about.
Yeah. So when we hiked up where Kelly saw the mule deer, we hiked up there, and then we saw the black bear, and we hunted right until the end until it was dark, and then called it quits. And then that's when we decided we should get the bear meat out the following day.
Well, let's hold on a sec here. You don't mind me? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that bear you just explained there. A different bear. So now we're up to about 4, if not 5 different bears, and one of them we've harvested. So now this bear that we went out on that evening.
I think that was the 6th bear that I had seen on my own.
So we went out.
These
on
are
that
all
one,
like near camp, essentially.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how cool of an experience that was going over that landscape and having, again, like what Kelly's saying, making a plan and executing the plan. And just like, I want to know what your take on that, Mike, was on finding it where we were. And then when you were like, all right, man, I'm going to go after it. Like what did you think of that?
Well, man, it was like you and I were in that bowl glassing for a while. And like, man, I think we need to go, like, we need to get out of here and go up that game trail where Kelly's buck went. And then hiking up there, and it all just opened up, and we actually found like a watering hole up there, like a pretty big pond, like a big enough for it to have like ducks and shit in it. So then we started realizing this is where all the animals are going, man. Like it's like that again, that missing piece of the puzzle. It's like, oh shit, this is the spot we should have been in on like day 1, but this is like now getting into the last 2 days of the hunt, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, when we were coming down this ridge, and there's like a cliff, and come over the edge of it, and there's a black bear just like coming towards us. He was down like in a little valley, but so I still had that black bear in my head from the start of the hunt, and that thing was just big, you know what I mean? So this one I was like, it's not it's not as big as that one. It's, I'm still been like choosy because I haven't harvested a bear yet, and I kind of wanted to wait for that big one. But now it's like, it's that end of the hunt thing. It's like, well, should I or shouldn't I? And ended up that bear saw us for sure, and it decided to run out of there. And like, fuck it, I'm gonna go chase after this thing and see if I can close the distance between it. And if I do, then I'll take a shot at it. So I basically ran down that mountainside after this thing, and they're so fast, man. It was gone.
That bear was booking it out of there.
Yeah. But yeah, I got down there pretty quick, and then I looked back to where you were, and like, fuck, man, I have to climb all the way back up there. Because you got all the adrenaline helping you get down there too, and then it all, burns off, and then you got to slog your way back up the mountain again. But it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Man. You got an opportunity to
bear, though.
Another opportunity to get after an animal.
Yeah, man. So like every day kind of had some excitement, We saw something every day, which we've been on hunts where we don't see a fucking thing the whole time. And that's when you're not seeing stuff, that's when you start to get in your head a little bit. Like, what am I doing here? Like, fuck. But
did we pick the right place? Is it the right time of the year for the place? Or, there's something, shit's
weather,
not adding
moon,
up.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway. So that was,
I should mention that I blew the straps out on my backpack.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's something else I got to replace. So I got the water filter, the cords. Now I got to buy new straps, shoulder straps for my backpack.
Well, those should get replaced for you, right? You got to wear.
I called down there. They're like, no, that's a wear item.
Oh, I see.
All the stitching came out. Now they're just pooched.
What the fuck, Snyder? We'll get him on here.
Yeah, get him on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Your backpack took a beating this year.
Yeah. Well, I use that thing quite a bit. I don't think there'd be too many other packs that would hold out that duration of time.
Elk, at least.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, that was the last night that we were all together. The next day is when you guys decided to take the meat out because we were worried about temperatures were getting a bit warm. So you guys decided to bring out the bear and bring it down to the coolers. And that's, I already told my 4-point story. That's when that happened, was that morning. And maybe it's a good thing I didn't pull the trigger on that thing, because I would have been stranded there with it. And it was pretty warm that day. So maybe it happened for a reason. But the piece of the story that I didn't know, or I wasn't 100% sure was happening, was there was an issue with the ATV. And I basically just got a Zoleo message from you guys, and you weren't sure what was going on with the quad. But fill me in on what happened.
Yeah, basically just, and I can't remember if I mentioned it in the Moose podcast from last year, but the battery, like just being in storage, like I think what you want to do is make sure you charge the battery once a month. And that year I didn't charge it at all, and it went like I wasn't using it a ton just because, kids and life and everything. And on that moose hunt, remember, Mike, we had to like jump it with that little eliminator almost every time we turn it on.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this isn't good.
It was a little nerve-wracking when we're way out there and like,
maybe start. So like over that next winter period, I was like charging it up and made sure it was all good. I was charging it every month. But I think the thing was like still toast, man. Like I think it was just toasted. So like, I think once we used a bit, like basically it just conked out. I couldn't get it to do anything. You couldn't jump it or nothing. So we just ordered I had to get another battery for it, which kind of held us up for a day, which, apologize to you there when we got back.
Well, nothing you could do about it is what it is.
Yeah, but you don't want to leave a guy, right? But that's another dynamic that you're kind of adding into the hunt, right? Is vehicles and things like that. So
we should mention too, because we mentioned there was 2 quads. You guys went down on just the one together, but you had the key for the other one, so I couldn't use the other quad.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Keys
stranded. Yeah,
I feel like we had more time when we started this hunting journey well, you guys started it, and then I joined you, that I had more time to plan. And I was very
Yeah.
very
I know what you mean.
meticulous. But now life's gotten so crazy. I'm just like, I think I got it all together. And it's
Yeah.
burned me. You know, I got to go back to that very meticulous going over my stuff.
Yeah, it's getting that good list and just checking everything off, man. Like you reuse that same list all the time and just be
Yeah.
like, yep. I like to, as I'm throwing shit in my pack, I'll put a check mark on it so I know it's in there.
Yeah.
So I've got everything laid out. As soon as it goes in the pack, put a check mark by it, and then
Yeah, don't check it until you know.
Exactly.
Or maybe it's one of those things that now our gear has got a few years on it, so it's starting to deteriorate.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Or like some of your kits, like your kill kit or your med kit
that
or
shit's
whatever.
getting
Like you got to
old.
re-inventory it.
Yeah,
and make
yeah,
sure
and
everything's
just see if
in
the
there,
shit
'cause-
works. Where I'm always under the assumption, like, oh, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I find there's always a gap. What I find hard is like, I want to pack everything up 2 weeks in advance or a week in advance, but there's just some stuff that you can't until you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's that gap of constantly checking like, hey,
Yeah,
what did I
man.
do? And what do I got to wrap up? That is the danger zone.
It's almost better to just do it all at once, even though you want to like kind of get ahead on it. But that's why I kind of like get everything. I've got Rubbermaid bins, so it's all in there.
Yeah.
Ready to go, more or less. And then just when I start filling up my pack, I just get those bins out. And
Start testing stuff. Make sure shit
make
works.
sure it's all there. And
Yeah. That's what I should have
exactly.
done.
Yeah.
On the positive side, I changed the insoles on my boots, and those new ones I was rocking were awesome.
Okay, good. I need to get some of those, man.
Yeah,
What are
made
they
by
called?
Soul.
Garrett? Soul.
And I was rocking the Crux. I think that's what they're called. The other ones, man, those fucking destroyed my feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Nice.
Yeah, since I bought those Mendels, I haven't put any insoles in them at all, and I've had like amazing luck. But I think my feet just like them for whatever reason. I don't know. I've also
Especially
bought them
for oh, sorry, go ahead.
like when I was shopping for them, one of the main problems this is like off on a tangent. My old boots, I bought them like almost like a ski boot where there's not enough room in the front of the toe. And I think part of the reason I did that was because that was the only way I could make those ones fit, because the heel cup was actually a little bit big. But what I did with these ones is the Mendels have a really skinny heel cup in the back, and I could get a really firm, like good fit on the back of my foot, and I could still extend out like a half size out the front. So like my foot always feels like it's fully extended, and I'm not like ever sliding up against the front of it. But even the insoles in them I find are good too.
Nice.
Anyways, plug for
We were
Mendel.
talking about this on a previous podcast, all our problems that we're having right now. And me and Mike were talking about that plantar fasciitis. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And I took a stab at those soles, and they fucking helped, man. They were a big.
That's good.
Yeah. They were
Nice.
good.
Generally a good idea to have good insoles, aftermarket ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we can start wrapping things up here, but food. I really like those. I mentioned them, the Peak Refuel freeze-dried meals. I thought they were really good. Garrett, you had some too.
I don't think I had all Peak Refuel, and then out of the ones I picked, I don't think I had one bad one. I'd eat them again.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
I
they're
didn't have any,
awesome.
but now I might have to buy some.
I would, man. They're really good. I was like excited to eat them rather than being like, how it is with some of them. They're just like, ugh, that's not fucking good at all.
Yeah.
I
had
got one of those vegan ones, and I had one before.
I did?
No, Kelly did.
Oh.
And it was fucking terrible.
Oh, which one was it? What brand?
I forget, but I saw that you packed it, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I should probably tell him that I had like a pad thai one. It was just awful. It's like bland, and it didn't cook right, and it was.
Oh yeah. I
terrible.
think I know what you're talking about. The brand is escaping me. If I remember it,
I can picture it, but yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the worst one. The rest of them were pretty good. I had a lot of Backcountry Pantry, and
those are good ones.
I had a couple just classic Mountain Houses in there. There's something about like just having a spaghetti and meatballs Mountain House that is just comforting, like it just tastes like just
Yeah.
Alphagetti or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
not
probably the
best.
only time too I eat oatmeal is when I go hunting, and those oatmeal ones that I brought were fucking pretty good.
Oh, were they?
Oh, Happy Yak, Mike.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah, it was not my favorite. Although,
Yeah.
like, there's
Yeah,
something.
puke.
One of the, I can't
Happy
remember what
Yakking.
they're called. They're at Mech. They're not cheap. They were like $16-18 for one.
Yeah.
Remember that I was with you a couple mornings and I pulled out that little breakfast skillet thing.
Yeah.
And they're like a really small bag, maybe like 300 calories, something like that. Not a big breakfast person. So I found they were like the perfect size to just put in your pocket, go to your glassing spot. All you needed was like half a cup of water. So you're
Nice.
not like draining your water over breakfast.
Yeah.
And tasted super good, man. So I might load up on those next time, even though they're a little pricey. I mean, we're only doing this once a year, but
Yeah.
for a good smaller breakfast where you don't feel like you got to dump it out, it was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you guys all packed noon tabs too, those electrolyte replacements.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We all had coffee. You guys had coffee, right?
Absolutely.
Coffee, yeah.
Yeah.
Starbucks.
The Stroops, waffle Stroops.
I didn't have any of those this year. I was missing them. Those are the best.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And
I
you
had
know what
some,
else I packed? I packed those vitamin C things that have,
Oh, yeah.
and I was
Immunity?
drinking those every day.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah. good
yeah. I
one.
had the Stingers, some energy bites.
Brought a bunch of pepperoni, some smoked salmon. Yeah, it was good, man. It's just
Yeah.
a little bit. I got to remember to have some variation. Every day is the fucking same, you know? You got to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my
Yes.
problem. I was eating the same shit every day.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I had the bagels and chorizo sausage with some cheese and peanut butter and stuff. But
Yeah.
the first few days, I was like, I could get used to this.
Yeah.
Fourth day, I was like,
Just
Your guys'
shit
meals
now
were
'cause I
looking
have
up.
to-
Yeah, your spread there was looking a lot better than mine. I was gonna steal one of yours. Swap it with
should have
one of
gave you.
mine.
We should have just traded. That's what we
That's
should
what
do.
we should do. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we
like,
should
hey,
trade. What's
what
up
do
for
you got
trades?
for lunch today?
Happy Yak? Hell no.
I'll give you 2 Happy Yaks for one.
Yeah, for one pepperoni.
Yeah.
We should do
Nice.
that next time.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add? It was a good hunt, man. I'd like to do it again next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it again.
Awesome
That's all.
hunt.
Sweet. Well, should I play us out with? I got a short hunting story. It's just a quick one. Want to hear it?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I was hunting for mule deer out near Princeton with the old man a few years ago. It was our second year of getting skunked. I was out doing a solo walk down a long, overgrown trail when I felt a twinge up my spine. I thought, I'm going to take a minute and listen. So I stopped and heard nothing. I continued on and that feeling came back. Almost like when you feel like someone is watching you. You know? So I turn around and start making my way back down the trail when the biggest bear I had ever seen stepped out into the middle of the trail 30 feet in front of me. We stared at each other for what felt like 20 minutes, but was probably only like 10 seconds, if that. I had my Weatherby Vanguard Meat Eater edition slung over my shoulder and was about to quick draw her when that monster took off in a flash. Needless to say, I had to check my shorts when I got back.
Nice.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, just short and sweet. Nice.
Yeah. I love these,
Nice.
man. We've gotten some good ones. So
Oh yeah, that's
The
good.
voice is good too.
yeah.
The AI.
Didn't let the meat eater eat on that one.
Yeah, I know. I thought he was gonna bag himself a nice big bear.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Well, it's getting late here, fellas. Good luck
Yeah.
if you're getting out for the rest of the season. You guys know I'm chasing mule deer until my fucking knees explode. So see
Yeah,
what
good luck.
happens. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
We'll
good luck,
sneak
man.
out if I get a chance for sure.
Yeah, there's whitetail in November. We can do that too. Could be
Yeah,
fun.
agreed.
And I was gonna go out tomorrow, but the moon. Did you guys see it? It's like huge.
It's huge.
So I think
Something. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go out tomorrow because you know how that goes. I feel like they're all moving around nighttime,
Yeah.
and then you get in there and there's nothing. So
It's like a super moon.
yeah, it's huge.
I'm waiting for a little bit of snow. To be
Nice.
honest, it's been ripping hot in here, and I've been out in the bush with the hounds, and it's like super dry.
Yeah.
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 Sweet.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
hopefully we'll have another story to tell by the end of the season, eh?
Yeah, hopefully. I'll keep trying.
Right on, boys.
All right. Yeah, cheers.
Okay.
Have a good night.
There you go. Episode 168. All right, and now the moment you've all been waiting for. The winner of a blade of your choice from North Arm Knives goes to Dave. We're keeping last names out of this. Some people didn't want their names mentioned. So Dave's story was actually a favorite for all of us. And his was a story about the grouse. Him and his family go out on a annual grouse hunting trip on his dad's birthday there as a tribute to him. And he ended up with a live grouse in the back of his truck there. So that story was awesome. And I'm glad that one was picked by North Arm Knives. Dave will reach out to you with details and connect you with Mike at North Arm Knives to get your blade in the mail. They're usually pretty quick to turn these things around, and you don't have to, but I think you should get a Rookie Hunter logo engraved into it. Keep the stories coming, because like I said, we're going to keep doing this. Every 2 months, we'll announce a winner. We'll include a story or two in each episode, and we love hearing these, man. They're hilarious. Some of them pull on the old heartstrings, just like this one did from Dave. And I think all of you guys have been enjoying them too. We've gotten lots of good feedback, so keep them coming. But that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys real soon.